Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the Crossover Culture Fortune. So Crossover Culture is back and they made a new shoe. And I was pretty curious about it because Crossover Culture is a smaller company and I like reviewing other companies as well, rather than like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, you know what I mean? So yeah, this is their brand new shoe. It's also one of their most expensive shoes that they have, and it only retails for 120 bucks, you know what I mean? So that's a very good price. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave the affiliate link in the description box. And if you do choose to get this shoe, it does help me out if you buy it through the link. And as always, thank you guys so much for all the support. But yeah, Crossover Culture came out like a long time ago. I did try out their older shoes. It was a pretty good overall performance, but not my favorite. But the Fortune, I've been playing in this shoe and it's actually pretty dang nice, right? Spoiler alert. So again, links will be in the description box, but let's get it started off with the Tracciones. And the traction pattern is actually inspired by a herringbone traction pattern, like a distorted herringbone traction pattern, which is pretty dang cool. It's super multi-directional. It's pretty much these little nubs, right, going throughout the entire outsole, which I don't like for durability. Like it does feel overall a little bit softer, and I feel like these nubs will rip off if you're playing on a really rough outdoor court. So just be careful with that. But how does it feel overall? It's really nice. It has a very good bite, right? A pretty much top tier bite. So if you're playing on a clean court, it has a really solid bite. I really enjoyed playing in the shoe because of the great bite, and you don't really need to break it in. It was pretty much good to go right out the box, which I really liked. But if you're playing on a dusty court, it does pick up a little bit of dust, right? I feel like that's because the rubber grooves are a little bit closer together, so it's like picking up dust a little bit. It wasn't terrible. It does pick up dust kind of quickly, and it does start to slide around a little bit when you let too much dust build up. However, it's a pretty easy wipe. You just do 1 to 2 slight wipes and you're good to go. So if you keep up with your wipes, you're gonna have really good stops. Just make sure to keep up with your wipes and don't let too much dust build up, right? So yeah, overall the traction was really nice. I was very surprised because all the other shoes that I played in from Crossover Culture wasn't that nice. The Fortune definitely surprised me with the really good stops. Also, we can see the Crossover Culture logo here in the middle of the outsole. So there is the traction there. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, extremely smooth because of the overall cushioning setup, right? So here in the heel, we have a nice rounded shape, right? We can see the heel foam protruding out a good amount too. So that allows for a good amount more compression. So it feels really nice and smooth here in the heel, and then coming here into the forefoot, we got a nice curved shape, right? This rocker shape. So from just the shape, it's really smooth, right? But also here in the forefoot, we have a nice little flex, you know, and a little bit of springiness as well, and torsion support is good. It doesn't bend at all here in the midfoot. So overall heel to toe transition is extremely smooth, especially since the cushion is so dang soft and nice, right? And now segueing into the cushioning setup. The cushioning setup is also really nice, but in my personal opinion, a little bit too soft and a little bit mushy feeling, right? So yeah, like I said, they are using this, they're calling this ghost foam, right? It's supercritical ghost foam, but it has this really interesting design on it. But here in the heel, there's just so much compression and it's just extremely soft. Also, there's a nice little subtle bounce. It's not super bouncy or anything, just feels more soft. Impact protection, especially on heel strikes, is really good. Overall court feel, I would say, is around average. And yeah, so that feels really nice. Also for the insole is just a regular kind of like insole. It's nothing amazing. But then underneath that, we have a pretty stiff struggle board, right? Honestly, I think that's a good thing. You know, if they made a soft mesh struggle board or made the struggle board a little bit softer, it would have been way too soft and way too mushy because, like I said, this foam is extremely soft and comfortable, right? So I really like walking around in it because it's very comfortable. But yeah, because of the stiffer ride underneath your foot and the stiffer underfoot cushion, it's not as mushy. You know what I mean? So because of that, I still like it. I just feel like, you know, if you want a really responsive setup, you know, for example, like, I don't know, the Big 3 5.0 Quick, you know, with like a stiffer foam, then you're not gonna like this setup. But I feel like most people will like it. It's just you're gonna feel a little bit slower because of the softer foam, right? So there is the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the upper. So the upper is pretty interesting as well, right? So here in the toe box, we have this very see-through type of mesh material. And then underneath that, we have another mesh material. And around kind of like the toe box, and also kind of extending here into the midfoot, we have this full grain leather, which is pretty nice for quality. But yeah, it's extremely thin, conforms to your foot extremely well, and also is very supportive. It doesn't stretch at all, and it feels really minimal and thin on your foot. So I really like the material here in the toe box. And then here in the midfoot area, we have this like thicker type of mesh material, and also some more full grain leather around the eyelets, right? And then for the tongue, we have a nice bit of padding. You know, it feels pretty nice and cozy on top of your foot. It's not a half, it's kind of like a half booty construction tongue, but not really. It's kind of like held in place with two elastic straps on both sides of the tongue. So that kind of stretches over your foot, which feels nice. And then here in the ankle area, we have an average amount of padding as well. So that feels kind of cozy too. So overall, I mean, for 120 bucks, the quality of the mesh material doesn't feel the best. Also the full grain leather, it feels pretty nice, you know, but it's not the best quality leather or anything like that. But again, for 120 bucks, it's pretty dang nice. It feels thin, it feels minimal, supportive, and conforms to your foot very well. So the overall upper, I really do like, especially just for performance, right? And now moving on to the fit. So the fit, so I went true to size, and it fits extremely snug. It's really short too. So I got another pair in that's half a size up, and it fits me a lot better. So for everyone, go up half a size. Like, I don't think anyone should be going true to size because it's just such a snug fit. But yeah, here in the toe box, it's actually not that snug here in the toe box, but lengthwise and widthwise, it's really narrow, right, and snug. So which is a kind of a weird fit. You know what I mean? I wish they would make this a little bit tighter here in the toe box, but then make it a little bit wider, you know? But also, yeah, like width-wise, so my pinky toe was going into my ring toe, I guess. And I guess my pinky toenail was a little bit long, and it was just kind of like digging into the side of my ring toe, and it was bleeding, and it kind of hurt. So yeah, definitely do be careful with the width. And if you have a wide foot, probably go up a full size, most definitely, right? And for most people, I would just suggest going up half a size, right? So there is the fit there. Moving on to the support and lockdown, overall is pretty dang good, right? So as far as lateral containment goes, not the best, like as far as like a lateral counter goes, but I guess we do have this like leather material. The foam doesn't really come up acting in the sidewall that much, right? But I didn't really experience my my foot going out of the footbed really at all, so that's good. There also seems to be an internal TPU heel counter, so lateral containment overall was pretty good. And also, you know, the overall upper is pretty supportive, so it wasn't like moving around or anything. My foot wasn't moving inside of the shoe, even on lateral movements. So yeah, I was covered there. And also lateral stability is good. You can see how wide the shoe is, you know. We do have the foam protruding out here on the lateral side in the forefoot. So lateral stability is pretty dang good. And my foot felt locked into the shoe. Once I tightened the laces, I didn't have any heel slippage or anything like that. So overall support and lockdown is pretty dang good. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. It doesn't feel super light. I feel like average, a little bit heavier than average. Oh no, 12.1 ounces, so that's around average weight. Let's check the other shoe. Oh, 11.9 ounces, right? So it's a little bit lighter than average, actually. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. That kind of surprises me, right? But yeah, this shoe feels really responsive because of the really good traction. However, like I said, it feels a little bit mushy because of the softer foam. There's just so much compression. Like I said, it's not terrible or anything, but if you're a guard looking for a really responsive shoe, probably not the best option, but I feel like most people won't mind it because it's just like super comfortable, you know? But yeah, I did feel overall pretty dang quick when I was playing in Fortune, so there's that. Moving on to the ventilation. Ventilation's okay. Here in the toe box, we actually do have pretty dang good airflow, but nowhere else, right? Nowhere here for the upper, like this mesh material, and also for the tongue, there's not that much airflow. It's just through here. So overall, it's still like on the warmer side of things for ventilation. And moving on to the aesthetics, yeah, not a huge fan of it. You know what I mean? I guess I do like how it looks more like a casual shoe, but it kind of looks like a kid shoe to me. You know what I mean? Like the way the shoe's designed. And also, it looks very similar to like Brand Black, doesn't it? Like the Evo, I think it was, or whatever, from Brand Black. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of how this shoe looks. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, I really like it. You know, this shoe was fun to play in. It's very comfortable. So yeah, if you're looking for a very fun and very comfortable shoe to play in, this is a great option, right? And also adequate in support. It's a thin upper, overall pretty lightweight, and the traction is pretty dang good, right? It's just the cushion I feel like is pretty polarizing, you know? It'll have people either really liking it or not liking it, in my personal opinion. And yeah, like I keep saying, if you want a responsive, stiffer setup, not the best. But like I said, it's not super mushy, but you'll definitely feel a little bit more laggy, you know, compared to more responsive shoes. But it is very comfortable and has that nice little subtle bounce. So yeah, it's a pretty dang good guard shoe, and also for bigger dudes, I feel like bigger dudes will also enjoy the shoe. You know what I mean? It's a comfortable cushioning setup, support's adequate. So yeah, overall, I feel like most people will enjoy it. It's just watch out for the narrow length and also the fit, you know? So anyways, that about concludes my performance review of the Crossover Culture Fortune. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.